Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build switchback door handles for your 03 to 06 Silverado. Let's get started. Alright, so sorry about the noise, you got rain. So first you're going to need your handle. You're going to need some fine line tape, extra wire, and the light. I'll link it in the description, but I've started that one. It's setting up, but so some people put the light on the outside where it's the line. I'm going to put it on the inside where it makes the inside of the handle glow, so you can like see the handle during nighttime, and I just think it'll look cool. So first thing to start off, you have these pins here, and there will be like teeth on one side and it'll be smooth on the other. You're gonna take a punch and push it this way. So you're gonna push the teeth out. Do the spring first, that way it's not under any tension. Then do this side, and this thing will pop off. I'll do that and then I'll show you guys what it'll look like. So we got the pin out of the spring and the thing that makes this have tension. So now it's not under any pressure. So make sure you take pictures of how this goes so you can remember to put it back the right way. If you don't put it back the right way, then it won't work. So go to this side, pull this pin out, this handle will come out. All you need is just a punch. You're just gonna put it right there on the smooth side, punch it out, then it'll go back in later. But you're just gonna punch that out, and then this will just pop right off. Now that you got this out of the actual housing, make sure you put the housing in a place where it's not gonna get scratched or scuffed, away from everything. So we'll just go ahead and put that in a container. But now you're gonna take some tape and you're just gonna tape this, and then you're gonna set your light down on there, trace it out, and then you start cutting. So you're gonna put your light up there and you're gonna mark it on the tape. So you got your marks, and then you're gonna go to your Dremel tool, get this cutoff wheel, make your first initial cuts, and then we'll go from there. Just got our initial lines cut out right here. As you can see, they're fairly deep. I went ahead and cut out a notch where the wire's gonna go through. I just used this little drill bit, went through there, came out the other side, and then it's just gonna go like come out, and then it'll go into the door, and it'll run into the fuse box. Now we're gonna start really milling out all this black in here and getting it down to the level that we want, so we can put the light in there and then put our epoxy in. Now we're just gonna pretty much mill out all of this, just with the air tool, just mill out all this to the depth that we want. All right, so we got some of it milled out, as you saw. We're gonna keep following the initial line, get it down to the depth that we want. Put the light in there, epoxy it in, and then it'll all be flush mounted like that. So the light's pretty much gonna set down in there like that. It'll be pressed down a little more. And then the wire, that little groove right there, this little groove, the wire's gonna run through here and out of this little slot, and that's where it goes. It goes through the back, and then it'll go into the door. So now that's deep enough, we flex this down, we put epoxy down in there, and then I will clamp it down to hold it, and then I let it sit, let it cure, let it all set up, and then put the handles back together, and then put them in the truck. So we'll have to take those out and then put these new ones in. So we got the handle milled out to the depth that we want. Now we just got to put the light in, and then you'll probably start seeing how this is gonna work. All right, we got the other one that I did off of camera. We got the wire epoxied in. Now this one that we were just working on, we got 3 clamps on it, 1 on each side and then in the middle, and we have the wire epoxied in. So we're gonna let that sit up, and we'll take the clamps off, make sure it all looks good, and then start putting it all together. Now we're gonna get it all put back together. We got this rod put in. Now we're gonna put this spring assembly back in. It's been a little bit of a trouble, a little tricky for me. I need to look at how this went in earlier. Make sure you always take pictures on how stuff goes back together so you know. They look like when they're on. This is with lights on, so here's what they look like with the lights off. And then the way you can test this is just with a DeWalt battery. There's what it looks like with the Switchback, and then just the pure white. This is going to be the running light, what it looks like all the time. This is with your turn signal, so this is what it's going to look like in the end. All right, we got the door panel off. So this is a little tricky to explain, but there's a rubber piece or plastic piece right here, and inside of there is one of the bolts to the door handle. And we got the new door handle on. We got the lock put in. It's really easy. It's just a clip, self-explanatory. We got that one bolt in. There's an access hole right here, which back in there, there's another bolt. All right, so instead of hooking the turn signal in the switchback, instead of going to the fuse box, we're gonna go up the fender into the turn signal up here. That way we know it's all the same. And the problem with doing a fuse is that it's going to try to turn them on at the same time, and you can't do that because there's only one can come on at the same time. So we're going to run it down the door, over the fender, and then over to there. So then the other side will go down the other fender to the other turn signal. So it's gonna go red to brown, yellow to blue, and then black to black. I have grill lights right here that I've already hooked into this harness right there. So we will be pushing it further back and finding it further back on the harness. That way it's not all clustered in one area, but we will put it on this harness. So we got the wire ran through the door, comes out right there through the boot, and then it goes up in there through the firewall. Then it comes out down there. It's running tucked in down there, comes through this hole, and then that's where we'll hook it up. All right, we got these wires together. A little trick I like to use: put a little electrical tape on the 2 wires, hold them together so you're not trying to twist the wires together and it's falling. It just it's your third hand. So you red to red, black to black, yellow to yellow. Solder these up, tape them up, don't let them touch, be good to go. All right, we got the wires soldered together, taped up. We're gonna keep them like in line like this. That way there's no stress on the solder joints. Then you just tuck it in here. Make sure it's out of the way of the window, which it's in the back, so it should be. And then we'll go up here to the hood to get that soldered on. All right, we just got all the wires soldered on, red to brown, yellow to blue, black to black. Now, they will work We just have to tape those together and make sure they won't short out. On. There's the running light. There's the turn signal. Now we'll do a little time lapse of us doing this door. That way you guys can see everything you have to do. Now's a great time to come on here and tell you guys that it would just help me so much if you guys would just like and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications for any upcoming videos. But other than that, I'll let you get back to the video. All right, we did that side, now we're gonna do this side. So, just to emphasize here, you wanna make sure that you have the black, red, and yellow wires inside of there. So we're gonna run it from the door up to the fender or to the headlight, not from the fender to the door. It just makes it a little easier because it's easier to bring the wire out of the cab than pushing the wire into the cab. So we'll get started on that. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the front. I'm sure you guys don't wanna watch me solder more wires together. So we're gonna get this wrapped up, put everything back together, and show you guys the final product. Here's what one side looks like. That's the running light. There's the other side. There's the switchback part. And there's your finished product. Now you have switchback door handles for your 03 to 06 Silverado.